What's up, guys? I just got back home from the Baltimore Regional Championships. Well, not really. I live here, but I was dead yesterday. I got top 8 at the first regionals of the season, which I am incredibly grateful to have achieved. If you guys look at the deck that I played, it is literally the exact same 60 cards that I played at the Pokemon World Championships. So you guys can check that report out to see why I played the cards that I did. Didn't feel the need to change any cards. I felt like as we were getting closer to the tournament, I really did not want to change any of the cards. Everything had a very specific purpose. And it kind of didn't really change in the existing meta. I feel like none of the cards really, I didn't really want anything else or didn't want to take anything out of the deck. And I really didn't think that this Cornerstone deck would be that real. I didn't actually know about it. I didn't actually put a ton of time in between Worlds and now. So I just decided to run back the same 60, and things worked out kind of in my favor. I got really lucky to be where I was, and I got to top 8. So thank you guys for all supporting me all weekend. I do have a masterclass and everything up if you guys want to buy that, all that good stuff on Metafy, or just DM me. But thank you all for the support. Let's jump into the tournament report. I know you're waiting to hear how my run went in the tournament. Round 1, I played against Drew Kennett. You know, at regionals, normally round 1, you get a name that you don't typically know. There's like 2,300 people in the room. One of those things where it's like, oh, I can hit, you know, probably like it's a Baltimore local. Like if I maybe hit like a local or something, maybe. No, I hit Drew Kennett, one of the best players in the world, someone who's regional champion, multiple top finishes. And so I get to my table, I'm like, hey Drew, nice to see you. We sit down. Oh, also, I decided not to drive down on Friday night because I didn't have a hotel, because I live about an hour and like 5 minutes, let's say, away. So I woke up Saturday morning at like 5:30, picked up 2 of my friends, and drove into the city. Got there at 7:30 because check-in was like, check-in was supposed to be like till 8:30, but there was like a line. There was like an absurd line for like almost 45 minutes, and then by the time we got to the front of the line, they were just like rushing people to their tables, and they just started on time anyway, so people were almost late. So anyway, I'm now hot, sweaty, and I am like low sleep basically because I don't normally sleep early. I sleep at like 2 in the morning kind of thing. So I was struggling a little bit on day 1. I hit Drew. He's playing Ancient Box, but he's playing a unique Ancient Box. He's playing 2 Cornerstone, 4 Great Tusk, so it's kind of like a control hybrid of Ancient Box, and he opens Cornerstone game 1, and game 1 basically I get to turn 2 Vinchino, a knockout on that, and I basically sweep the game because I just get too far ahead. Like I've now taken like 3 prize cards before the game even starts, and I have the access to hands into the Greninja at any point in the time in the game. Game 2, I fall too far behind because I keep missing attacks in his Koraidon. He opens Koraidon and plays Fightings. So his Koraidon is just swinging for baby numbers into my stuff, softening it all up. So by the time he goes into Moons, I just lose the game. Game 3, we get to a really unique stalemate situation where I cannot find my last Iono, and Drew makes a play on his Explorers trying to dig for a counter catcher, trying to kill my hands before it becomes a problem. Because I messed up and I prized Bundle, and I didn't actually prize check that. You know, first round of the day, you know, messed up. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those days. And I was like, dude, I prized Bundle. I might have messed up. I might have thrown the game right here. Because I preemptively benched the hands and set it up. And I was like, oh, no, I don't have Bundle to make the play that I wanted to make. And then he missed the counter catcher, but in the process milled a lot of resources with Explorers. And one of them was Palpad. So Palpad, Boss, Penny, like all these cards were gone. And I was like, trying to think in my head, there's no shot he plays 2 Boss. So I just stayed in countercatcher range the entire time, like outside of countercatcher range, and never took the 2. And the game was 2-2 on prize cards at the very end. And I had like a Legacied Lugia in the active, and I had a hands on bench with Lightning. And he was like, do you have the boss? And I was like, I have the boss, and the game ended there. So I got pretty lucky. Drew said he could have taken another card over the one of the cards he took to keep Palpad, and Palpad puts boss back into the deck at the end of the game, and his deck was like 2 cards. So he could have gone... his deck was like 4 cards, so you could have gone Pokestop, probably thin a card, and then Palpad, Greninja, and get exactly where he needed to be, because he still had like Superior and stuff. So I think that I got really lucky there that Drew kind of miscalculated the end of the game, but round 1 jitters kind of got to him, helped me out quite a bit. So got bailed out there. That's kind of the theme of this tournament. So starting off 1-0, can't complain. Round 2, I hit Sylvester. He's playing Ancient Box as well. He opens Pheasantipity and Fluttermane. He opens Fluttermane. He goes, I go first. He retreats Flutter into Pheasantipity and passes, no support or nothing. I get turned to Lugia, pop the Pheasantipity. He promotes Fluttermane. He benches another Fluttermane, uses Sada, and then concedes. Game 2, he opens Fluttermane. We both have a weird start where I have a pretty actually an awesome start, but then he bosses turn 2 to bring up my Lugia. So now I'm stuck in Fluttermane Purgatory, and I get a second Lugia on the board. But I'm just like now stuck in Fluttermane Purgatory, and then I get the. It takes like 3 turns, but then I eventually get the hands, Jet, attack, kill the Fluttermane, take 2. He hits into he hits into it, and then I go Boss Greninja, take 2 more. I'm up 4 prizes. He has to kill my Legacy hands, which gives him 1 prize now, and then I just go 2. Like I just can win the game off 2 attacks, and that just is exactly what happens. So I go to a 2-0 lead. I'm now playing the Ancient Box regional championships. Round 3, I play against Damien. I believe Damien was Regidrago. Yeah, I believe it was Regidrago. And I believe both games, Damien did not play Temple. I believe it was Jamming Tower. And both games, it just kind of felt like I got to a pretty early lead. Damien couldn't really do anything about it. And then I just was able to, win the prize trade like I often do in the Regidrago matchup. It does not feel like a tough matchup for me, honestly. And I played V-Guard, and I had the V-Guard and missed, and I don't think he played a way to get around that. So my one Lugia was kind of a menacing problem for him, like for pretty much the entire set. Round 4, I go up against Jarek, another very good player. He's playing Ancient Box as well. The first game, I end up taking it pretty convincingly. The second game, Jarek absolutely bodies me, I remember. And then game 3, we are still pretty early in the game, and I'm pretty sure we're going to tie because there's not that much time left on the clock. And Jarek has like a pretty insane turn 1, and he starts to turn off with a Pokestop to find a Greninja. His hand's like really bad. He's like already told me his hand's pretty bad. And he's like, this Pokestop needs to get me something. Gets a Nest Ball into Greninja. Greninja, draw 2. The 2 gives him Sada and Moon. He gets to set up and attack. Like the whole one card gets you the everything thing. And then he makes the mistake of Pokestopping a second time, and we reveal one card, and I want to just shuffle and throw it back in. Like I'm like, whatever, man. Like I don't want our game to be decided like this because like I know he didn't mean anything bad by it, and no information was gained. But Jarek upheld the rules because obviously one card being revealed means that a double prize penalty must be issued. So he called a judge on himself. So huge respect to that. I didn't expect him to do that. I thought we'd just continue the game because I was like, there's time issues. We just gotta keep playing. Let's go. But Jarek called a judge on himself, got himself a DPL, which effectively sealed the game because I got to go turn 2 hands on Fluttermane, and there was a Greninja in play. And he got the KO on the hands, but it didn't even matter at that point because the Legacy hands, because I just could go attack, and the game ends because I just needed to take 2 more prize cards. So a little bit unfortunate for Jarek, but I do take those. We go to 4-0. Round 5, I go up against Tyler. Tyler is playing Snorlax Stall, and I'm like, oh, nice, this should be a free matchup. So game 1, I'm playing really bad. Like, I cannot express to you how poorly I'm playing. I've used a lot of resources. I'm kind of like goofing all over the place, and then I've discarded like Word Ear, a bunch of resources. I'm just going in with my Rat. I'm just like, yeah, rats sweeping the game. What's the big issue here? Like, I can't lose this game. There's nothing that can go wrong. While I'm at 2 prize cards, and Tyler's at 6, he drops Blood Moon Charm, Mist, and knocks out my Minccino, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have another attacker that deals with this, because like I can go Lugia attack him, but then he just loops it, and I lose because he just can penny loop it at this point, I think, or like penny it up and then counter catch or something else on my board because I'm out of energies. Yeah, kind of embarrassing that I dropped the game to Snorlax. Locked it in from there. He tried the same play game 2, but I held Word Ear, so Word Ear just ends the game. And then game 3, my start was like absolutely beautiful, and like turn 2, I got like the boss KO on Rotom going first, and then like he just couldn't draw cards at that point, so the game just ended very, very quickly from that point onwards. So that got bailed out there too as well. It should not have dropped the game to Lax, but I was just not playing the best. Like I don't think I necessarily was playing amazing in this tournament, but yeah, I got bailed out. Round 6, I go up against Harrison. Harrison is playing Charizard. Game 1, he's pretty far ahead. He gets like the Dust Snore, all the good stuff that like gets deck going, and then I get the Chinchino response into the Zard. He ends up gusting my Pheasantipity and taking it out for 2 prize cards, but he doesn't take out my Chinchino, which just lets me take the knockout on the Zard, which is his only Zard in play, because there's a board was like Zard, Pidgeot, like Dusk Gull, I think, maybe Dusk Clops, but I was like pretty confused, and as soon as I knocked out the Zard, he was like, "I made a mistake. I tunneled on the Pheasantipity. I should just knocked out your attacker," because he's like, "I was just trying to go 2/2/2," and I was like, "Yeah," because like even if he Radzard's there, he Radzard's a one prizer, and he just loses. So I just knocked that active on Ionoed, and like I think I just won there. Game 2, I believe Harrison just got set up, and I couldn't really do much. And then game 3, my Raikou came in clutch. Like I got a super early Raikou KO on the Pidgeot into boss kill Rotom or Luminion, and then I think he had to play. I think he opened Rotom and had to bench Luminion. So and he couldn't take them all off the board, so I just won off a boss to end the game. So we're now 6-0. You know, feeling good. Probably my best start at regionals in a long time. Actually, probably since like pre-COVID, I haven't started this. No, I started 6-0 at Salt Lake, I guess, but it's been a long time since I've started this well. Nerves still haven't gotten to me, and I still feel like a hometown regional. Everything's good. Round 7, I go up against Riley. Riley and I and he's playing Drago, and we have a really, really weird game 1 where both of us have not like taken a prize card, and we both have like 10 cards left in our decks. And I remember Riley had like a chance to attack me or something, but I think he was missing an attacker, and he made a really weird play where he like Ultra Balled away supporter, to get like Mew or something, draw one more card, and then like discarded Prime Catcher, and then V-Start after, and I like asked him about it, and he was like, I don't know what I was thinking. So in my mind, I'm like, you had a research, you had an Ultra Ball, you had a boss and Prime Catcher all in hand, like I feel like you should have been able to chain together an attack there. Riley doesn't. I basically make one Minccino or Chinchino basically, because at one point I look and he's like only made his first Drago, and he has like 3 E-Switch in the discard, and V-Star's gone. And so I just go, okay, I'm just going to go into my one Minccino or Chinchino and start swinging, and I just do that, and then he knocks it out with like Teal Mask, and then I go into Bear, and the game ends effectively there, because he still has 3 to take, and I have 2 now left to take after my Bear attack. So I don't even really know what happened. That game was weird. And then game 2, Riley kind of like bricks. Like he goes first. He gets the Drago on the board and like double Teal Masks. And then I basically just like have a pretty good start. He doesn't get the turn 2 Drago attack. No, he does. He gets a turn. He has the turn 2 Drago attack option for Tina attack only. Oh no, I remember. I opened bundle. So he then Trifrosts, and he Trifrosts Lugia bundle. And so he's out of like energy now. He has like 3 E-Switch in the discard, and he had to V-Star to attack, I'm pretty sure also. So I just go evolve Lugia, set up my board, attack into him. Just 220. And then he draws, doesn't really have anything, has to basically start setting up another Drago on the bench. I top draw, get that Drago. It's a Drago V, I KO it. He goes Fez, draw 3 cards, nothing really happens. And then I knock out, I think he threw like a Halucha or something, maybe. And then I go with Nest Ball Bundle. He has to give me a 2 prizer. I think it was Squawk. I take the Squawk. And at this point, I have 2 powered up Lugias. He has 5 prizes to take. I can't lose this game from here. So go to 7-0. Feeling pretty good now. Round 8, I hit my Kryptonite Brent. Brent always sacks me when we play. I'm like 0-4 against him lifetime. And so Brent, I know, is playing Zard, but I know he's playing like a heavy Dusknoir line. Game 1, we get to a board state where he can go get Pheasantipity and just try to win the game on boss, but he gets Radzard to like lock up his board, and that ends up costing him the game because I knock out his Pidgeot with Legacy Raikou and Iono, which means that he can only take 1 prize now, and he has to draw the raw boss, and he doesn't get there. So I win game 1, and then game 2, we get to a board state where it's like 4-4, but I literally can't lose the game if I go Luminion boss, kill Pidgeot with Raikou this turn. And I go Aroma Heads goes a Tails, and I was like, dude, come on. And then I end up losing that game because I have to take a 1 prize knockout on something, or like I have to hit into the Zard, and the Zard doesn't get KO'd because he got Cape on it, which was super annoying because I was like, I have the Raikou play to take out the Pidgeot. If I take out Pidgeot, I go to 2. He's still at 4. Killing Raikou doesn't benefit him here, and then I just, win the game on a Wordier play, and there's like a Luminion and a Rotom in play too. So I was like, you definitely cannot remove these off the board if you don't have access to Turo with your Pidgeot. So I felt really good about that in that situation. And then game 3, he opens Pidgey Pass. He forced me to go first, and I opened Raikou, and I went attach Raikou. I went attach again to Raikou. Got V-Star, so I attached again to Raikou, and I just knocked out active. He goes, stretcher back Pidgey, bench Duskull, pass, and then I go get hands, get all the pieces for hands to Pidgey, and then he concedes. So, unfortunate brick from Brent on game 3, but I do move on to 8-0. Round 9, I've been here before. I've been in the tables where I have the chance to go to 9-0. Back in 2017 at Collinsville, I had the chance to be a 9-0, but I lost to Alex Wilson. I have been close a few times to being a 9-0 at a regional championship in D1, but I've never been able to convert that. It's been getting harder and harder every year. Round 9, I go up against Sanjay. There were nine 7-0s going in round 9, or round 8, and I was the only 8-0 remaining. So everybody tied somehow, and I had no idea what I was playing into. It turns out it's control, and game 1, Sanjay has it completely locked up. I had a couple of bad my last 2 prize cards were Legacy and Chinchino, so I had like 5 different ways I could have won the game. But those 2 being my last 2 prizes made it so I just could not close out the game. And Sanjay goes into Cornerstone. I hit into the Cornerstone with Lugia V for 110. He hits into my Lugia for 120. I hit back into him for 110. He has a charm. He decides that he has to penny it up this turn. He pennies it up. I'm also the whole time just waiting for a boss's order top deck, because I have Warrior in my hand and I have enough energies to knock out the Caped Pidgeot. And I'm just attaching energies from hand slowly because like my hand was like DTE, like Warrior, like research or something. I was like, I cannot research this hand. I lose the game. And he pennies it up. And I think he could have just thrown back up the Cornerstone and attached to it and passed for 1 turn, and there's attached again and knocked me out. But he goes Bear, Charm, attach, knockout, and that's 310. And I had, exactly enough to get to. Well, I could have gotten to 340. So I got to 340 and I knocked him out, which is awesome because I didn't expect to win that game, especially when he knocked out Lugia. Because I had like 3 turns of looking for boss, and I was like, dude, where's the boss? If I just get the boss, I can't lose here. So I was pretty tilted at game 1, and then I won. I was like, oh, sick, nice. And then game 2, I got the turn. Well, we both had like 3 turns of doing nothing, or like setting up, I guess, because I opened Warrior. And then the first turn of attacking on like turn 3 or 4 of the game, I got Chinchino, Jet, Boss, KO the Cornerstone on his bench. And then he threw a Pidgeot, was doing his whole turn. And then I think he meant to do something else, and then he just instant charged, and then he looked at the board and he was like, oh no, and I was like, oh, he just left Pidgeot in the active. Sick. Because I think he was pretty tilted that I was able to get the boss Cornerstone play pretty early. Yeah, nice. And so I just drew, attached Chinchino, set up my Lugia, put some more energies on the board for Warrior, and I knocked out the Pidgeot, and then he conceded. So, cool. 9-0. I am undefeated at the end of day 1. Feels actually insane. Doesn't feel like a real regionals either, because as soon as that ended, grabbed the 2 guys I drove with, and Bradner. Bradner came home with me. Drove back an hour and some change. I drove 15 minutes to Bradner's hotel, waited 30 minutes for him to get all his stuff. Then we drove an hour back to my friend Mustafa and Harris's place, dropped them off, and then I drove like 20 minutes back to my house, like my actual home, went upstairs, took a shower, passed out of my own bed at like midnight, woke back up at 6:30 in the morning, got back in my car, and I drove to Baltimore. So I literally, it felt like I was playing like a League Cup or something, because I was like, why did I go home and come back? Like, why didn't I just get a hotel? I'm an idiot. And I have like friends who are locals in the area, so if I drove myself, I could have legitimately just been like, let me come stay at your house for the night. Like, save myself 2 hours of driving. But I drove everyone there, so that's on me. I mean, in the end, it all worked out in a certain way, so I can't complain. And I was so like excited by the 9-0. I guess I couldn't sleep well. Like I think I fell asleep at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and I had to get back up at 6. So now I have 2 days of like compounded lack of sleep. We get to the venue. Round 10, I'm either hitting Nolan or George. I already know that. Nolan's the Cornerstone deck, and George is Bolt. I'm hoping it's George because I think Nolan's a bad matchup for me. So I hit George, and game 1, I have three aroma heads, so I don't even get another basic, and I just lose. I just get donked. But my hand was like double chops off the rip, so I could have just gotten like Squawk and slammed it, Like I would have just slammed my hand, had a playable hand. We're cooking. Game 2, same thing. I research. I go like Aroma, research, Goza, miss the V-Star, lose the game on spot. So, and then he has Charm. He finds Charm the turn later, so I can't even bear for game, or bear to put myself back in the game. But if that turn I was able to go Bear, V-Star, kill his Bolt. He only had one Bolt in play. He wouldn't have had a chance to respond immediately, I think. It would have been a little bit of a struggle for him. So I take my first loss pretty quickly. Feels pretty bad. Round 11, I go up against Rasmus. Rasmus is playing Cloth. Game 1, I prize pretty poorly and miss V-Star for 2 turns, which gives Rasmus enough time to just kind of like beat me up with Cloth. And also, like, I opened Minchino into his Petrant donk, which was super annoying. Because it's like a very slim scenario that happens. Like that or bundle, I guess, are the two things that get popped. So I was like kind of annoyed that happened. Game 2, I set up like pretty perfectly, and I like expect everything to go the way it is. And then I make like a huge mistake, like a huge one that I'm like now shaking and upset because my whole board is one prizers with Legacy. I have like a Cinchino, I have a Lugia with Legacy, and 2 Archeopses. And I think that if this turn I get the boss's orders, I can't lose the game. I guess I could have done it next turn because there's no way he has no way to one shot Lugia with Cloth. So I was like, in my mind I tunnel visioned on he got an Archeops last turn. So I was like, in my mind I tunnel visioned on if I boss this turn, I cannot lose the game. Like if I boss the Luminion or Squawk or Fez this turn, I go to 1 prize card and I cannot lose the game because I have 2 attackers that kill Cloth. So I slammed the Pheasantipity and started getting ready to draw. And he was like, no, you died from poison. I was like, you did 160 because of resistance. He's like, DTE. And I was like, oh no, like there's no shot. And I remember like, I was literally like so mad at myself. I remember like I was like shaking from anger at myself at that point, or the air conditioning was just too hot. I was like, there's no shot. Like if he gets boss Cloth this turn on my Fez, I actually have a shot that I just lose this game now because I screwed up so badly. But he drew a bunch of cards. 3 DTs were gone at this point, and he missed the last DT, and so he missed attack, which I got bailed out on, and I just knocked out. Like then I got the boss and won the game. So did get punished, and then game 3, he opts first, and he's trying to go for the Patch Donk because I opened Minchino again, but my opening hand is like Ultra, Aroma, Research, and I'm like, please man, just let me play the game. And he opens Secret Box, and I'm just like, oh, there's no shot. He opens Luminion, goes attach board to Luminion, then Secret Boxes, benches Electrode, V from hand, so he has a Sealstone target, and then he puts Town Store down instead of Artisan, which I think he wanted to put Artisan down. But I think he needs Patch, Sneasler, Brute Bonnet, Tool, which I think with Sealstone, Town Store, he gets 2 of those pieces. So he goes Sealstone, Squawk, and I was like, okay, so Sealstone's gone. He needs to hit 3 Nest Balls basically on the other end and a Tool, and he hits the Sneasler and nothing else. And so he puts Sneasler down, puts Cloth down, retreats into Sneasler, and passes. And I have like an okay start set up. I set up my board, and I pass with Lugia active. He comes up, he swings into Lugia. I just immediately go into hands. I was just like, I'm just going to go Iron Hands 2 here because he has a bunch of 2 prizes in play. So if I go hands for 2, then I can just go 2-2 with Lugia. And then I do that. And then I pass with Cinchino active, so he takes 1 prize card knockout as well. So I'm just going to go into hands and win the game from here. And then that's exactly what happened, where like he did that, and then he bossed around he countercatched around my hands. I think he killed Archeops. And then I went boss, KO Squawk for 3 with hands, and I went down to 1 prize card with Lugia setup. So I have a Lugia setup, I have a hand setup. Lugia has 150 damage on it, but I'm down to 1 prize card, and he has 4 left, and so there's just no win condition left on the game. So I get kind of bailed out by not getting donked, which is awesome. So Cloth at round 11 was an insane experience. Round 12, I hit Rafal. I was on a podcast of his earlier this year. It was awesome to be there. Thank you for having me, Rafal. And it was nice to meet him finally in person. Rafal wins the flip, chooses to go second. I end up, blowing my load to get the 2 Lugias into play and Squawk. He gets a turn 2 catcher KO on Lugia V, to which I respond with a Lugia V-Star, but I miss, my flips go the wrong way, so I'm only able to get one Chops into play, and I was like, I need to make this Chops play. He did have 2 subjugating chains, so his first moon did have 10 damage on it. So I'm able to knock it out with Lugia, and I make a Lugia with Legacy and Mist, and I'm just like, please don't have any enhanced hammers or stuff, and I knock it out. Rafal then goes into another moon. This one more unbothered. Like, I don't think he had damage on it with subjugating chains. He goes ahead and gusts my Squawk, takes it out. Now my board is Lugia, Archeops, nothing else. And so I'm like, I just can't give him another prizer, I guess. And then I go draw, boss up the Pheasantipity on his board, take it out, go to 1 prize, go to 2/2. He goes Baby Moon, gust up the. He played 2 Baby Moons, which is something that I was not ready for. He goes Baby Moon, gust up my Archeops, take out the Archeops, go to 1 prize card, making me have the gust around it, which I did have the gust. I had Luminian for boss for game. So I win with 1 Chops. Game 2, very similar situation. I open Luminian. I go Luminian Gift. I go Lugia. He ends up getting the knockout on the Luminian, but he has to like expend his whole hand to get to 1 moon, and it's like no second energy on a moon anywhere else. It's just like the board is like not patch. It's like Moon, Squawk, Baby Moon, I think, and like Greninja or something. Like, that's his whole board. So he doesn't really have anything going for him in this moment. So I know if I kill this moon, I'm in a really good spot, because it does take that deck a little bit of gas to get back there. And then I Goza Tails, Aroma Tails, which means that I have to get 1 more Chops in the discard, and I had Research in hand, and so I'm like kind of pissed off at this point. It's like super annoying that happens. Evolve to the V-Star that's in my hand, onto active Lugia, because I'm like, worst case, I'm just going to make a Lugia with DTE and just smack into him, and discard the stadium. Because I can't just like not do anything this turn. Like, I have 1 Chops in the discard. I can play with 1 Chops. And then I go Research. On the other end, I don't draw any Chops, but I draw the other V-Star. So I go Evolve second V-Star. So my board's V-Star, making him half the gouging, which is, I guess, something if I go 1 Chops. But I draw Bear Jet. So I go 1 Chops, Bear Jet up the Bear, Chops a Mist and a Legacy onto the Bear knockout. Oh no, I have to Pheasantipity into the Bear. I Pheasantipity into the Bear. Yeah. So now he's got an attacker. And then so he gets like completely set back up again. Petrant, Double Moon, whatever. Catcher heads on my Fez. 2 Dark Patch gone. It has to Pokestop at the very end of the turn to try to hit the Dark Patch to attack me. Whiffs the Dark Patch. Passes with Greninja active. He's already moved my Bear for me, so I just get attached to active. He has Petch in play, which means I don't need to put 4 non-DT energies on Lugia. So I just go DT and energy on Lugia, and then I attach from hand, so now I have a powered up Lugia as well, because Archeops is still alive. Oh no, I don't attach from hand, sorry, I just do a DT energy. And then I go attach, retreat, Fez into Bear again. Boss up the moon. Take 2. And then he does his whole turn. Doesn't have the Iono. He has the Sada again to attack. So I just show him and as soon as he saw it, I knew I had the game, because my hand was Luminian Boss, and I had my deck was also like 6 cards or 7 cards at this point, or like very few cards. I knew I was like pretty much guaranteed to draw into a Luminian or Boss at this point. So yeah. Got bailed out, go to 11-1. I am in top cut now. So then I go to round 13, I hit Nolan. Nolan's playing the Cornerstone deck. Nolan sits down, I offer the ID. Nolan says, can you convince me? I show him the standings. He's got the highest percentage by a large margin, by like 10%. Nolan says, so I'm going to dodge ASIM. I'm like, you're going to dodge ASIM. No reason for us to play. We take the ID. We move on. So the ID at like 12-ish, like 12 p.m. So ID happens. I have to resleeve. ASIM happens, and they take us backstage. And the stream game took a lot longer than they expected, I think, because Steven and I were backstage for like an hour, and I think our game went off at like 3:30 p.m. So for 3.5 hours, I didn't play any Pokemon, and the nerves were like really starting to get to me. Like, I was really starting to like freak out. Like, it went from like just me being in a rhythm of flow, just like I'm locked in, I'm doing what I can, to oh my god, man, like I gotta like focus up. I can't make a mistake. What if I lose the coin flip? What happens? Like, I didn't know if Steven or Grafton won for the longest time either. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's in Grafton's deck. Fun fact, actually, Graf and I started this channel together back in the day in 2016. So really cool to see him back and doing really well. He's an amazing deck builder, amazing player. So I've always looked up to him. And then Steven and I sat backstage. We were just talking. We're old friends. Like Steven and I were like, we grew up together in this area. So we were just joking around, talking about life, you know, like we would be like a League Cup, which is really funny because the judge was like, you guys should be taking this more serious. I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of feels like a League Cup to the two of us. Like we see each other like pretty much like every other weekend at Cups. Like we go get like Korean barbecue all the time. Like that's our shtick, and we like just joke around. I've watched him grow up. He's watched me grow up. Like, yeah, you know. So we eventually go on stage. I lose the opening coin flip. Steven has the most insane nuts turn one or game one hand, and I prize pretty much everything. So I just, you know, get absolutely shellacked. Game two, I'm getting shellacked as well, and then Steven makes an absolutely egregious misplay by benching the bear early, and then I just kind of win on that. I capitalize on that. But if he doesn't bench bear that early, you guys can watch the stream game later. If he doesn't bench bear, I was just gonna go boss Fez, retreat to Lugia, knock it out with Lugia, take two, don't let him have infinite turns, and then he has one turn to find bear boss. All right, win the game. Which he didn't, and he probably wouldn't have. So I probably would have won game two in that situation anyway. And then game three, his start was really good. My start was the same. We're going back and forth, but we're going back and forth. And then I think the deciding factor came down to just the fact that he got to go first because I was never able to respond to his board state where I had like Gus the Chinchino, stuff like that. In that position, I just couldn't do anything once, you know, all the cards fell the way that they did. So a little bit frustrated that my run ends in top 8 once again. That's 4 straight top cuts in a row without a medal to show for it. But very grateful because I didn't really expect this. I just took the same exact 60 from Worlds. Didn't really expect to do anything with it. And yeah, I top 8'd. So it was awesome to watch. Hopefully I get my win soon. That's like the one thing I really, really want. I definitely don't know how much longer I'll be playing like at this high level competitive like at this like a level of competition. Like I probably have like maybe 2, maybe 3 years left in me at most. But I'd love to do content. I'd love to cast. Like that's my future with the game. I think I'd love to be involved in any way possible. Pokemon means the world to me. So all that being said, thank you guys for watching my drivel, my drone. I droned on about this for quite a while, but I'm very, very grateful to have been able to top 8 a regional championship to start the season. Puts myself in an excellent position for the Pokemon World Championship invite. If I miss it from here, it's probably on me. But besides that, you know, I'm really, really, really grateful for everyone. And thank you. Just like and subscribe. You know, let's get to 10K by the end of the year. I have a Discord you guys can join and, you know, be a part of my community. And the Lugia Masterclass is still available. You guys can buy it. It is the same exact class as it was before. I told you guys this is the sauce. Just got to stick with it. Peace out, guys. Much love.